I'm Gareth Davies, and for the last 3 decades, this is the world that I've inhabited, boxing and mixed martial arts. I tell the narrative of people's lives, why they fight, why these warrior spirits feel this calling. Come with me on the journey that I take you inside the lives and the minds of fighters.
Yes, chase him over. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, we are. Are you ready now? Yeah. Yeah, no goals then. How are you? Good. Everybody, you alright? You look crazy. What, you don't have a shave? You look healthy. Yeah. Heart attack, flapped over, killed it. It's very serious, for sure. He had a heart attack, a minor heart, 5 minor heart attacks. Took him to hospital, boxed him to let him go up, next day he died. Yes. Well, then make sure you get up health.
November 14th, yeah. And then I'll be out there with you for the next WWE and the next boxing yard. Cool.
Yeah.
So, shall we sit down then?
No, I reckon standing up is the way he needs to.
I'm sit.
Sit down.
So we're going to sit on the side, yes? Vintage umbrellas. Okay. So where's the old guys? Do you have you heard of Artitsu? It's a Victorian gentleman's martial art, which they had swords and umbrellas.
Oh, I thought it was Victorian gentleman's
Gentleman's club.
What's it called?
Artitsu. Bartitsu. And it was a martial art that Victorian gentlemen used. For people that play kickboxing in London. Sherlock Holmes used it.
Yes.
Sword in an umbrella, little revolver, cape for trapping people, and a chain on the cape.
You got the cape? Chain?
No cape and chains.
It sounded more and more like the gentleman's coming.
I was just looking at one of those old pieces that you did in but you're more groomed now.
Yes, much more groomed.
Polished head, groomed. Is Paris and the kids really enjoying your venture into WWE?
They have been, yeah, for sure.
But they weren't there that night when the kids weren't there that night when you set those.
Exactly.
Wow. I like that thing the way it's done, that's quite organic. I'm very pleased.
As always. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really.
Russell.
Right.
Somebody called him. Someone mentioned that 2 years ago. Oh, we can't call me that. Only Tyson Fury calls me that.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Yeah.
No one else gets.
Let's go to work.
Are we ready?
Very close.
Are we ready? Yeah, we will. All right.
Are you guys ready to go?
Very soon.
Right, ready?
Okay.
Are we good? Go, yeah?
Yep.
David Alorka, Gareth Davies, joined by the one and only Mr. Tyson Fury. Tyson, how's it going?
Fantastic. You know, it's been a long day, been up since 6 a.m. Non-stop interviews, one after the other, but I'm still alive, still kicking, and still well, still fired up for this one.
Do you know what I'm most pleased about? Yeah? That you still call me Russell Crowe.
Yes.
That I was worried that you were going to be in Panto this year at some point for Christmas.
Right.
But you're not. You're going to rumble royally in Saudi against these big WWE dossers.
Yes.
Are they dossers or not?
Well, Braun is a massive dosser. Have you seen him?
He's a big old
He's
dosser.
6'8", 28 stone dosser, and he will feel the fury, especially after what he did to me last week. While I was training at the WWE Centre, he came in from behind, shoved me over, and it really hurt me. I wasn't expecting to be shoved over and damaged like that.
Bullied almost.
Could have broke my ankle.
Bullied?
Yes, so I am a bully slayer. And, you know, I've slayed many bullies in my time, and Braun Strowman's going to be another one, that's for sure.
How did it all come about? Just explain that in a little way. Was it just by chance? Have you ever thought you might be in it? Because it's not something we ever talked about. Because you're a fighting man through and through, aren't you?
It's been very organic. It's come from nowhere. I accepted the opportunity because I thought, you know what, it's a life experience. That's what I'm about at this time in my life and career. And so many people were not about this. Like, oh no, don't do that. You might get injured, might do this, might do that. But I knew I would have regretted it later on in life if I didn't take the opportunity. And with me just having a cut as well, had some time out where I wasn't really boxing training. So I kept myself busy and got involved in WWE. And here I am, head of a poster, topping the bill inside.
No,
against the beast.
High fives with people like Triple H, who was one of my heroes as well. He used to have the ring that's like we have.
Yeah.
Oh no, you haven't anymore.
Yeah, I haven't anymore. I did have it though.
He's a savage. You see what he's
doing? No.
I tell you what happened to my ringlets. It's a little thing called, that's it, marriage. Yes, they all fell out.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Paris.
I've got one other question about all the WWE guys. We've seen you deep in training. You are working incredibly hard. Have they earned your respect as athletes yet?
They're very much athletes for sure. You got these big guys, big heavyweights, and you've got smaller ones as well. And they're very, very athletic, and they do all these acrobatic moves, and they land on the head and land on the back. Very unnatural and very painful, may I say.
And you said you found it even yourself. We know how athletic you are as a huge man, and that you fight for a living. It's the toughest profession on earth. But you have said it's a very, very awkward thing to have to do. What are you doing studying my chest?
I thought it was, are they Roman coins?
No, they're American coins crushed by an artist. It was a lovers thing, but it's over now.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Must have been love, but it's over now.
I thought he was going into the next line. Did you watch wrestling when you were growing up?
I watched it, yeah, when I was growing up. Some of my favourite wrestlers, The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, all these guys. John Cena came in a little bit later after those guys. Bret Hart, British Bulldog.
Yes.
So many of them, weren't there?
Do you think in a way that we know what a showman you are and you're a natural character personality as well as being a very hard man and a fighter? Was that an influence perhaps on you in like Muhammad Ali or Gorgeous George was an influence on Muhammad Ali, wasn't he? Do you think they had an influence on the way you've been able to project yourself as a character in fight sports?
I think they did influence me, along with other world heavyweight champions who were outspoken, like Muhammad Ali, like Mike Tyson, like Prince Nassim Hamid, like all these wrestlers. Going as an amateur boxer and a professional, I always knew that you had to be different. And you couldn't be a run-of-the-mill guy who was like, oh, I'm a nice guy, thank you very much, and that's it. I'm a boxer. It's got to be bigger than that. And if you aim to be a star in any sport, in any walk of life, you have to be different to the next man. What makes you the next world champion? Why should you be that person? And if you can't think of 100 reasons why, then you ain't going to be that champion. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Have you? Can you do a if you smell what the Rock's cooking?
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
That's pretty.
How was that?
That was solid. That was good. That was so solid.
Come on, no, you ask. Go on.
You didn't stretch it out.
He's doing the collar stuff. Go on.
Have you perfected your boss walk, your Vince McMahon walk?
No, I haven't been practicing me boss walk, but the truth of the matter is, I have been practicing my posture.
Oh yeah.
Because I tend to walk a bit like that. Now, I'm a fine fella, like 6'9", 18 stone in shape. I'm starting to walk like tall now, chest out, back straight, shoulders back, looking forward like, come on, let's go. Let them know what time it is. And that's how I walk around the WWE Centre.
Like that, yeah. You got some good knees and elbows in you when you fought 10 men the other night in the ring.
Yes, did you see that?
I loved it. I mean, you just took to it. That's what I was most amazed with. You just took to it so comfortably.
And how about the end one, Cesaro, when he come to quiet me down? I just can't. Boom. Take that.
You must have absolutely loved it. The fans and everybody loved it as well. Do you have any messages for Mr. Braun?
Yes. Don't go sleeping on me, Braun, because I'm coming for you. They may call you the monster among men, but they call me the monster slayer. So you're about to get slayed in Saudi.
Now, it's an amazing time with this WWE, AEW, in a pro wrestling war, promotional war that we've never seen the likes of. Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez from the UFC, both heavyweight champions. Jake Hager's in Bellator fighting, and he's also in AEW. Jack Swagger. Is there any possibility that the guy you call another Dosser, the guy that you had absolute war with in Los Angeles a year ago, could turn up ringside and try and slip through the ropes and try and wrestle you by the name, you know the one? Deontay Wilder?
Yes.
Is there any chance that he could end up ringside, and what are you going to do to him if he does?
I don't think so, because he's got a fight end of the month
In
November,
Las Vegas,
in Las
with
Vegas,
Luis Ortiz, yeah.
He'll be concentrating on that, because Luis Ortiz is no push-up. As we saw before, he had him going. We managed to get rid of him. But it's always going to be a tough fight. A big punch in southpaw, a well-schooled boxer like Luis Ortiz. So I wouldn't take my fat ball if I was him.
Oh, so what you say is there's no way you can afford to be distracted.
For sure.
But I'm not calling it a sideshow, because you're deeply involved in this, of course. But what I mean is, if you did another WWE event...
Yeah, don't write it off. Wilder could turn up.
Yeah.
But my message to Deontay Wilder is a serious one. He's talking about me doing wrestling, and he's talking about me faking injuries not to fight him.
Oh, yes.
What he should be concerned about is his fighting hand. Because like I said before, do not go to sleep on Luis Ortiz, or else he will put you to sleep. Very tough fight. Concentrate on that. He's looking at the bigger fights, the more money, the high-profile fights, redeem his loss. He wants to do that. But first of all, he's got to get past this Ortiz. And if he doesn't get past Ortiz, he's out the running for the lineal championship, that's for sure.
I'm looking at your eye. It looks amazing, Tyson. I don't know if you can focus in on Tyson's eye there with the camera. It's healed up incredibly well.
Yes, it has. There was an incredible plastic surgeon who stitched it for me.
Yeah.
100 days, I'm told, it's going to be healed. Been 40 so far. Looks okay, doesn't it?
It does look really good. So are you saying that we could still go ahead and we may all be booking our flights for Las Vegas for February 22?
I'm not saying may, I'm saying definitely.
Yeah, you want that then?
Oh, it's on. As far as I know, but like I said, don't underestimate or overlook Luis Ortiz, because many men have underestimated lesser opponents than Ortiz and end up on the back in the canvas.
The fun one for me is obviously you speak about Ortiz, Wilder, obviously fellow countryman Joshua is taking on Ruiz. How do you see that going on?
It was a good fight last time. Both men down. And again, maybe it was a case of one man overlooking the next man. If we go back in a bit of boxing history, 2001, Lennox Lewis fought Hasim Rahman.
Mm-hmm.
He got knocked out in the fourth round, heavily. But a fight which Lewis was controlling and winning up until round 4. Then he got knocked out by a lucky punch. He came back, immediate rematch, knocked him out. Jobs are good and thank you very much, reclaim my title. But if we analyse the Ruiz fight, Joshua wasn't winning the fight up until his knockout. He put Andy Ruiz down. What round was that?
Third round.
Third round. Yeah. Up until then, anyone could argue that the round's going to win either way or whoever won them.
Yeah.
But he wasn't in control of that fight. When he put him down, he got back up and then knocked him down. So his best round of the fight, round 3,
he got knocked down, didn't he?
A round which he lost.
Yeah.
It was a 9.
And then he went on and lost every round from then, and got knocked down on 3 times and lost the fight. So this is a tough fight, and mentally in his mind, whatever excuse that they made up for the promotion, the reason why they lost, the fighters know the truth. So if I go into a fight and have a terrible performance and lose, I make up an excuse, oh, I had the flu, or oh, I had an injury, or I had a problem at home. But really, I didn't. And in my mind, I know the lie, I know the truth. So that you've got to take that into the ring with you as well. He looked fit to me. You know, he was training long enough, and he had the notice. The other guy had a couple of weeks' notice, and he went in there and beat him. So this time with the proper camp, it's going to be a difficult reversal of a result, in my opinion. Now, I hope AJ goes in there, hits him with a jab and a right hand, good night, see you in a bit. Comes back home with all them belts, and we get the massive fight on next year. But I think it's going to be more dramatic than that, that's for sure.
Wow.
Indeed. Well,
Good luck beating up a Strowman.
the Strowman.
The straw man. Turn him into a straw man. End him. Turn him into a balloon man for me.
Always a
Harsh
pleasure.
words.
Francis. Always.
Thank
a
you very
pleasure.
much.
Loving the suit as always.
Thank you very much. Hectic. Let's go.
Sweet.
Dave, if I get
Yeah.
you to and you guys to start.
Tyson, it's been an incredible few months for you. You have been seconded into a new code, if you like.
Yeah, how is that?
How is that working out for you? Are you enjoying the new challenge?
I am enjoying
Oh,
it.
fuck, let's go. I'm going to use that. Just give it to me. I'm just very quickly because they're going to shut me out soon. Sorry. Yeah, so